The summer of Craig continues as the Calgary Flames have re-signed a couple of players that could see some real NHL minutes this upcoming season. And if you're not a fan of the Calgary Flames, you might not even know who these players are. So in that way, Conroy made a couple of good sneaky signings here that could really help the future of the organization. We're going to dive into all of that and more. But first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And without further ado, who are these couple of re-signs the Flames have done? Well, let's get into the first one here and talk about Klapka. Yes, that's right, Adam Klapka himself. He came up to the NHL level a little bit towards the end of last season and instantly became kind of a fan favorite. I don't know what it is about bigger guys, but they are just prone to becoming fan favorites in pretty much any fan base across the NHL and just hockey in general. And Klapka has re-signed. So let's dive in. There you go from the Flames Instagram themselves. That's how you know the source is true. The Flames have re-signed forward Adam Klapka to a one-year, two-way deal with an AAV of $775,000 for the year. And yes, chances are he'll probably be playing with the Wranglers more than the Flames next season, but there is a chance that he could come up to the NHL level like we saw at the end of last season. Is there a spot for him in the current lineup? I'm not too sure. There's a chance he could be kind of a fringe NHLer. I mean, that's why he signed the two-way deal, of course, but let's just say, God forbid, but let's just say there are some injuries to certain Flames. Klapka could easily be the man to come up. Also, quick shout out there, Danny Griffith, liked by Danny Griffith. My boy, that's my younger brother. Love him to death. What a Flames fan. Either way, great to see that Klapka is going to stick with the organization because who knows, down the road, he could end up being kind of a key role player. He has some offense to his game. He's a bigger guy, so of course he has some defense to his game as well, and it'll be very interesting. No matter what, we love to have him in the organization. But let's dive into a little article here from the Daily Faceoff. So Klapka, 23, is a towering presence at 6'8". That is unfathomable. Whoa, I couldn't even say that right. Unfathomable at just how tall this guy is. I mean, on skates, maybe he's even a little bit taller, but either way, that's like looking up at a giant, and we have him signed for longer. So anyway, is a towering presence at 6'8" and made his NHL debut last season, dressing in 6 games with the Flames, scoring 1 goal and adding 19 minutes in penalties. So yes, he can throw the body around. Maybe it'll get him some penalties, but he can also throw the fist, have a little fight here and there, and it's all good to go. He can protect our players. He really can do it all. Everyone remembers that goal was it the very last game of the season against San Jose? I think he scored, and oh man, it was just fantastic to see. Klapka spent the majority of last season with the Flames' American Hockey League affiliate, the Calgary Wranglers, where he posted 21 goals and 46 points in 65 games. So not only is he big, but sometimes he comes up big on the score sheet as well. A goal every 3 games or so is very, very good at the AHL level for this kind of player. Hopefully that can translate to the NHL level, and he really can stay at the NHL level. It'll be very interesting to see. I mean, I know it's just a 1-year contract. Who knows? There is opportunity for it to carry on further. We could re-sign him during next season for even more term. The Prague, Czechia native was originally a free agent signing of the Flames back in May of 2022, and after showcasing some of his talents last season split between the NHL and AHL, is looking to make his presence known at training camp in September and hopefully throughout some NHL preseason action. And that is all right around the corner. I believe they were laying down the ice at the Saddledome. You know, now that the summer is kind of winding down, we know Stampede is well over, so it's great to see the ice back, and that does mean training camp and the NHL season are right around the corner. We do wish Adam the best of luck when it does come to training camp because, look, there are going to be some spots up for grabs, and he could be the type of man that could grab it. But if we take a look at his stats from his professional career so far, spent a couple years in the USHL, put up a few points, pretty much a point every other game kind of thing. Then he was in the Czech League. Oh, he went back home, of course, where he did okay. And then, of course, the past couple seasons with the Wranglers and the 6 games with the Flames as well with the 1 goal. Not the worst stats at the AHL level at all. Once again, a point kind of every other game sort of thing. And he's not bad at all. The stats might not be the most eye-popping and won't exactly say, oh my gosh, we should have signed this guy sooner. but they're under the radar, kind of like the title of the video says, kind of sneaky good stats in a way where with his height, oh man, he could turn out to be a really, really good player and the perfect role player for a team that can contend. This season, the Flames are not going to contend for the Stanley Cup, but let's say he plays well, gets that next contract, who knows, down the road, it really could pan out for the Flames and for Klapka himself. Congratulations to him on signing his new contract. Now let's get into the second player, which is Kuznetsov. No, it is not Evgeny Kuznetsov. He is going back home to Russia. He has had a weird couple of years here, but no, it is Yan Kuznetsov there. As you see, he's been around the organization for a while, hasn't quite found his game, hasn't quite made it up to the NHL level either. But either way, good to have him in the organization. Another big guy and a defensive defenseman. So here you go, once again from the Flames Instagram. Kuzi, the Flames have signed Yan Kuznetsov to a one-year contract extension. I don't know why the caption is different under this post here by the Flames, but it is the exact same contract that Klapka did sign. So if we get in here, Kuznetsov, on the other hand, signed an identical deal as Klapka and also enjoyed making his NHL debut in 2023-24. Kuznetsov appeared in one game for the Flames on January 9th against the Ottawa Senators. I remember it well, I was at that game with my father, pretty much the best seats I've ever sat in at the Saddledome. It was such a privilege to get to go to that game, and I got to see Yan Kuznetsov. Boy, what a game it was. And shout out to my dad. He's just the best guy ever. And here we go. And wound up playing just over 11 minutes, recording 2 shots on goal and 1 blocked shot. Do I remember those distinctly? No, unfortunately I don't. But I have the privilege of saying that I got to see Yan play at the Dome at the NHL level. The 22-year-old is a former 2020 second-round pick, 50th overall, and spent the majority of last season with the AHL's Wranglers, where he registered 5 goals and 13 points in 63 contests. Again, not the best stats, but he is more of a defensive guy. The 6'4" blue liner also scored 1 Calder Cup playoff goal for the Wranglers throughout those 6 postseason appearances. Kuznetsov joined the likes of Connor Zary and Ilya Solovyov, 2 former 2020 Flames selections who also made their NHL debuts for Calgary last season. He's kind of the least likely to remain at the NHL level, but either way, again, it's good to have players like him in the organization. A bigger guy, a defensive defenseman. You can never have enough of those, and who knows, maybe he will end up panning out. If we take a look at his stats once again, they're not going to be crazy in terms of offensive production. You know, in the one game there in the NHL, you see he didn't have any points and was a -1, but either way, the Flames did end up winning that game, so really, he made the big difference. But either way, again, not the most goals, 10 AHL goals in parts of 4 seasons, really just 2 seasons. He didn't play a lot for the Stockton Heat. But either way, again, he's not an offensive guy. He's a defensive guy. We like what we're working with here. And when it comes to what we're working with, now that we've had all these signings, you talk about Dustin Wolf, Anthony Mantha, now we have the 2 mentioned in this video, and Klapka and Kuznetsov. What is our cap situation looking like? Well, Flames GM Craig Conroy has been busy this offseason as the team continues to rebuild and retool on the fly. With Kuznetsov and Klapka's deals completed, Conroy still has over $19 million in cap space to work with heading into the 2024-25 season. Conroy will likely now turn his attention to getting a deal completed with Solovyov, aforementioned, ahead of training camps opening in September. So really, there's just one more guy to kind of re-sign here. Not a whole bunch of RFAs left in the organization, and I doubt the Flames will do any sort of splashing in free agency. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen, but either way, the Flames should have a lot of cap room to work with, could potentially take on a cap dump and make the future look even better. We will just have to wait and see. This is quite exciting. Let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. And this one has to do with yesterday's video about some of the moves that the Flames have made in the past, and maybe it goes to former management teams. But I like this comment here from Cameron. He said, people have to remember they traded Monahan to make cap space for Kadri at the time. I do agree, though, that giving up a first to move him was a rough decision. So the Sean Monahan trade was a terrible trade for the Flames, especially, when hindsight is 2020. We can see very clearly that it is awful, but it is true. Monahan, he had a big contract at the time and was dumped away in order for us to take Kadri. So Kadri kind of is the future considerations aspect of that trade, but still, it was an awful trade for the Flames. And as good as Kadri was last season, it's still a big fat L for Calgary. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.